Open hearts, open mind. Welcome to the Sattva channel, the official online platform of the Sattva project. First of all, on behalf of the Sattva project, I would like to express our thankfulness to our StreamYard sponsor, Dream Home, and also our gratitude to our media partners, Durian ASEAN and Durian FM. And not to forget also a very important man behind the scene, our broadcast director, Brother Chong. Thank you very much for your generous effort and contribution. Hi, Brother Chong. Would you like to come out and say hi to everyone?
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you'll find our session today very useful. Thank you, Brother Sharap, for the kind introduction. And please do remember to like and also share so that more people can benefit. And for those of you who may be watching later in YouTube, please subscribe and like as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Chong. And also, we are going to have a very important and meaningful meditation session today, guided by Khenpo Sonam Tsewang. So let me first give a brief introduction about who is Khenpo Sonam Tsewang. So today meditation entitled Guided Healing Meditation on Buddha Shakyamuni, and it will start soon. So today we are sitting quietly at home, spreading love and kindness all around the globe. So Khenpola will first begin with an introductory talk about the essence and the main themes of the practice, and then we will meditate or sit together or chant the mantra together, meditate upon Buddha Shakyamuni, followed by some question and answer if there's any, and concluded with a dedication prayer led by Khenpola. So let me give a brief introduction about Khenpo Sonam Tsewang. Khenpo Sonam Tsewang graduated at the Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies in Varanasi and also studied at Namdroling Monastery at the Nangyo Nyingma Institute, where he was enthroned as a Khenpo in 2011. He has translated the all-pervading melodious sound of thunder, the outer liberation story of Tertom Mingyo Dorje, together with Judy MCs, and is currently working on a new translation of Longchenpa's Treasury of Peace Instructions. He traveled extensively with Khenchen Pema Sherab Rinpoche, serving as his translator until today. So, dear Dhamma friends and fellow Sattvas, the sadhana of Buddha Shakyamuni, a guided meditation session with Khenpo Sonam Tsewang. Thank you, Khenpo.
First of all, I would like to say Tashidelek, greet in Tibetan, which means may all be auspicious, and may each and every one of us have the temporal and ultimate happiness. And I would like to thank Sattva Project, led by my friend Sherab, for inviting me on this platform and to share some of my teachings, and especially today on this guided healing meditation on Buddha Shakyamuni. So before we actually go to the main practice and recitation, I would like to give a few kind of like points in order to keep in our mind, so that the practice itself will be kind of fruitful and meaningful. The the text itself that we are going to use today as the sadhana, or as the form of meditation, is called Treasury of Blessings, and which is actually the meditation and recitation upon the Buddha Shakyamuni, the great master, the great teacher who actually kind of like came in this world 2000, almost 2600 years back. So before going to the main meditation, what is important for us to know is to first of all to remind ourselves of this precious opportunity by meeting online in this today's fast-paced world, especially in these times of pandemic, where everybody is kind of going through a very hard time throughout the world. And of course, on the one hand, it's really unfortunate that each and everyone on this planet is going through a difficult time. But on the other hand, just as it is said that sweet are the uses of adversity, as a blessing in disguise, we kind of, during this pandemic, we have more time for ourselves to introspect, to reflect, and to contemplate what is actually the meaning of life, and what is the best way to make kind of the best out of it. So not only this, this month is considered to be the called the Sakadawa, or the month of Vaishak, which is very auspicious from the Buddhist perspective, because in this month, Buddha Shakyamuni displayed three of his most important activities, and that is his birth, and his enlightenment, and the parinirvana, or passing away into the peace. So therefore, like it is so important that we use this particular time during the pandemic, when we are enclosed in our rooms, in our houses, to meet together online and engage in meditating upon Buddha Shakyamuni, and then reciting upon the mantra, and sending out the virtuous energy, positive energies throughout the world, so that this pandemic may be over, and all the people, beings on this planet experience peace and happiness. So first of all, I would like to speak a little bit about the significance of the particular meditation on Buddha Shakyamuni, and the recitation upon it. Actually, in Buddhism, there are many methods of meditation, and broadly speaking, the meditation can be categorized into two, and that is the single-pointed meditation, the calm abiding meditation, and then the analytical meditation. So here we are doing more of the single-pointed meditation, where we focus our mind on Buddha Shakyamuni's form, his image, or his physical manifestation, and of course reminding ourselves of his qualities, the inner qualities of wisdom, compassion, and power, enlightened power. And then out of the many means of meditation, especially of calm abiding, including like focusing on one's breath or any kind of specific object of meditation, which actually help us to calm our mind. Now, this calm abiding meditation is very important because the mind, our mind, is considered to be, it's given the name called monkey mind because our mind is always agitated, always distracted. It is always restless, talkative, and always jumps from one object to another. It is always restless. And this restlessness actually is the main source of many of the suffering that we see, not only during this time, but also, since time immemorial. Since we had this distracted mind, we have been wandering in samsara because of that. And not to mention about today's situation in the modern life, where there is so much of distraction, so much of entertainment, amusement, where we are bombarded with all this kind of distraction that we can't help it, and which instead of giving us peace, instead of giving us satisfaction, it aggravates the situation, it worsens the situation. The mind already is restless, and providing it with more entertainment and amusement, what happens is like it makes it even more agitated. So therefore, the first thing that we need to do is to calm our mind. And in order to calm our mind, there are different various techniques within the Buddhist practice. And one of the best one, or the best means, is to focus on the Buddha's image and recite the mantra with focus. So therefore, another aspect of meditating upon Buddha's image is that it's very easy for us to derive inspiration, because we already know a little bit about Buddha Shakyamuni, like the historical Buddha who actually was a prince, left his palace, and then went into, abandoned his palace after seeing so much of suffering, and then trying to find the truth of life. What is the truth of life and death? And in order to solve that riddle, he went out from the palace in search of truth. And after 6 years of his spiritual pursuit, and finally, like under the Bodhi tree, he found the solution to the problems of life. And after his his enlightenment, then he started to teach and share his wisdom, and therefore like benefiting millions and millions since kind of like he started to teach. Even today, Buddha's teachings are very much relevant because it talks about how to work on our minds, which actually is the source of all the problem. And if we are able, if we have the right means, then we can actually solve the problem without looking for solution outside of us. So therefore, it's very easy to derive inspiration, like when we focus and meditate upon the Shakyamuni Buddha's image. And while doing so, of course, we need to remember the enlightened qualities, his enlightened qualities of wisdom, compassion, and power. As the founding father of Buddhism and the father of Buddhism, all the rich and diverse forms of Buddhism that we find today in different parts of the world, whatever kind of like name that we may call, whether we call them Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, whatever we may call them, all kind of like are derived from one and only source, and that is the Shakyamuni Buddha. And finally, kind of just to keep it short, to Buddha himself, he said that, like, what is it to see the Buddha? And Shakyamuni Buddha said, to see the Buddha is to see the reality. To see the Buddha is to see what actually is the truth. So when we are able to see the truth, then only we can see the Buddha. So that is in real sense seeing the Buddha or meditating upon the Buddha. However, in order to do so, because truth is something which doesn't have form. So for us, for beginners, it's very good. It's very convenient for us to have a form of the truth and a manifestation of the truth. And the Buddha Shakyamuni's image is the manifestation of truth. And therefore, by meditating upon Shakyamuni Buddha and reciting his mantra, then we actually are able to see the truth, guided to truth through that practice. So the main purpose of meditating upon Buddha Shakyamuni, is to develop calm abiding. The calm abiding means when the mind is very much agitated, distracted, jumping from one object to another, when the mind is gripped with anger, intense desire, pride, jealousy, and all those emotions that actually disturbs the peace of mind, then what happens is, like, we actually fail to see what is the reality, what is the truth. And as a result of that, we become confused. And that confusion is very much habituated. Because of that habituation, what happens is we are trapped in that cocoon of delusion, the cocoon of confusion. The more we are habituated by these negative emotions of anger, like of extreme desire and attachment, jealousy, pride. All these negative emotions confuses us more, and as a result of that, we never experience peace. So, what is the first step towards calming those negative emotion is focusing on one particular object, like focusing on Shakyamuni Buddha's image. When we focus on Shakyamuni Buddha's image, remembering his qualities, then the mind actually cannot focus on two objects at the same time. And as a result of that, all other violent negative emotions, actually what happens is they cool down. And when it cools down, then what happens is it opens up a whole new of opportunity and potential to actually see what actually is the truth, whether it's truth, the outer phenomena, or the truth that is within us, the truth of the mind. So therefore, calm abiding, coming back to calm abiding. And once the mind is calm, when the negative emotions that actually disturbs the mind has subsided through this practice, then we actually are able to develop what we call the vipassana, which is actually the special insight to see the truth as it is. Because what happens is, because of our delusion, we fail to see what the truth is, and therefore we wander in samsara, and we get confused. So therefore, first thing is to develop calm abiding, the focused meditation, and which enables the violent negative emotions to subside, and then which gives us the opportunity to actually see what the reality is. When we fail to see the reality, then the all the negative emotions, even though they have subsided for the moment, can actually give rise, can kind of generate later on. So therefore, the calm abiding in itself is not the end result that we, as a Buddhist, strive for. The calm abiding is a means to actually see the reality, and which leads to what we call the vipassana, seeing the truth of the reality. So therefore, even though like we developed a very high level of concentration, where negative emotions for the time being do not arise, and we experience peace and peace, only peace, and we can go to the most sophisticated level of meditation, but without seeing the reality, which is what we call vipassana, without seeing the truth of the reality, ultimate reality, and these negative emotions are bound to arise again. So therefore, the combination of two is what is called the essence of the Buddhist path, shamatha and vipassana. Combining these two, or the union of these two, which enable us to achieve the liberation, which is the end of what we call the suffering and pain. So when we now this is a short summary of the benefits of this meditation, and the actual meditation has a few kind of things to that keep in mind, like how do we start with. So when I shared the file from here, or maybe brother Chong can also share it. Yeah. So the prayer itself actually starts with what you call taking refuge, and bodhicitta. Now, this is actually, since it's a Buddhist practice, we start with taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and then followed by generating the what we call the altruistic mind, the bodhicitta, the mind that aspires to achieve enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. Now, after bodhicitta, then we develop what we call the four immeasurables, which actually are the immeasurable development of immeasurable compassion, immeasurable loving kindness, joy, and equanimity. And after that, then we actually read out the features of our special physical, verbal, and mental, or the enlightened body, speech, and qualities of Buddha Shakyamuni, so that we get inspired. That will be followed by a praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, reminding ourselves of the qualities of Buddha Shakyamuni, and then followed by what we call accumulation of merit through the 7-branch practice. The 7-branch practice, again, like very important part of Buddhist practice, which is actually start with paying homage, making offering, rejoicing, confession of the negativities, rejoicing in others' merit, and then requesting to turn the wheel of Dharma, and then requesting to remain as long as samsara remains, and then finally dedication. Now, after the dedication, then again invoking the Buddha's compassion, wisdom, and power, and then with intense devotion, then what we do is we recite the mantra. After the mantra, then we can do the dedication, and also what is important is after the mantra recitation, then we visualize that whatever the qualities of the enlightened qualities the Buddha has, whether it's wisdom, compassion, enlightened power, whatever qualities he has, are being received by us through this particular practice. So therefore, this will be the short kind of like, how to say, walk through the prayer itself, just to give you an idea about how it is done. So even though the prayer is in Tibetan and also the phonetic is also there, like what we'll do is we will read the translation in English so that everyone can follow the meaning of the prayer. Okay, so let's do the prayer together, and we spend some time in the recitation. Okay, I will read slowly, so that everyone can follow. So the taking refuge starts with refuge in bodhicitta. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. We repeat this 2 more times. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the sentient benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Now then, followed by 4 immeasurables. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from the suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be never separated from the sacred happiness devoid of suffering, and may they dwell in boundless equanimity that is free from attachment and aversion. Now this followed by this is the visualization, so where we kind of try to visualize the Buddha's image or Buddha's form, enlightened form, as the union of unborn emptiness and the ceaseless appearances of interdependence. Magically there appears before me in the sky amidst vast clouds of offerings on a jeweled throne, lion throne, and lotus, sun and moon disk seats, the incomparable teacher, lion of the Shakyas. His body the color of gold, adorned with major and minor marks. Clad in the 3 Dhamma robes, he sits in Vajra posture, his right hand gracefully poised in the earth-touching mudra, and his left hand is in gesture of meditation, holding an alms bowl full of nectar. Like a mountain of gold, magnificent, he shines in splendor, spreading beams of wisdom light across the whole expanse of space. The 8 closed suns, 16 elders, and the like, a vast ocean-like retinue of noble beings encircle him all around, Simply think of him and he grants the glory of highest bliss, liberation from samsara and nirvana, the two extremes. He is the great being, perfect embodiment of every source of refuge. Now, this is the visualization. Then this is followed by the seven branch prayer, developing our faith in Shakyamuni Buddha. This is the praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. With your great compassion, you embraced this turbulent and degenerate world and made 500 mighty aspirations. You are as exalted as the white lotus. Whoever hears your name shall never return to samsara. Most compassionate teacher, to you I pay homage. All my own and others' virtues of body, speech, and mind, together with all our possessions, visualized like Samandabhadra's offering clouds, I offer to you. All the harmful actions and transgressions I have committed throughout beginningless time, each and every one I now confess, with intense and heartfelt regret. In all virtuous actions of the noble ones and ordinary beings, accumulated throughout the past, present, and future, I rejoice. Turn the wheel of the profound and vast Dharma teachings, ceaselessly and in every direction, I pray. Your wisdom body is like space and remains changeless throughout past, present, and future. Yet, in the perception of those to be guided, you go through the display of birth and death. Even so, let your form body continue always to appear. Through all the virtues I have accumulated in the past, am accumulating now, and will accumulate in the future, for the sake of benefiting all beings who are as infinite as space, may you, the sovereign of Dharma, be forever pleased. And may all attain the state of the victorious one, the Lord of Dharma. Living beings like us adrift in this degenerate age have no guidance and protection. Because of your kindness, caring for us with surpassing compassion, every manifestation in this world now of the three jewels is your enlightened activity. You are then our only refuge, incomparable, supreme. So from our hearts we pray with total confidence and faith. Do not neglect the great promises you made in times gone by, but hold us until we attain enlightenment with your compassion. Supreme Teacher, Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, complete and perfect Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni Buddha, to you I pay homage, to you I make offerings, in you I take refuge. So this one we'll recite 2 more times. Supreme Teacher Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, complete and perfect Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni Buddha, to you I pay homage, to you I make offerings, in you I take refuge. Supreme Teacher Bhagavan Tathagata Arhat, complete and perfect Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni Buddha, to you I pay homage, to you I make offerings, in you I take refuge. Now we will recite the first, there are 2 mantras, first with Tadyatha and second without Tadyatha. So we'll recite it maybe 1 or 2 rosaries, depending on the time, and then we can do the dedication afterwards. Tadyatha Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha, 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 Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune So, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune So. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune So. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune So. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Tadyata Om Muni Muni. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune. Tadyata Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Now we can do without the Tadyata. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, Om Muni Muni Mahamune. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamune. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha, 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Om Muni Muni Mahamune Soha. Now, after this, from the Buddha's body, visualize that there emanates a great radiance of multicolored rays of wisdom light, dispelling all our own and others' obscurations, and causing all the genuine qualities of the Mahayana path to arise within us, so that we attain the level of perfection from which we will never again return to samsara. So with this visualization, then we conclude with dedication, that is, like all the Buddhas and their heirs, in enlightened intention and in activity, aspiration, wisdom, love, and capacity, in all these and all the ways unsurpassable wisdom manifests, may I and every other being too come to be exactly as they are. So this is the concluding dedication, and one can do this practice, in one's home and wherever you are, because this practice is quite simple, and the essence of all the practice is there. And depending on your time, you can do the recitation, and of course the dedication is so important. Three things that we need to keep in our minds is that the initial intention or the motivation should be guided by the vast intention of Mahayana, which is thinking of all sentient beings, their suffering, their causes of suffering, and their genuine wish to liberate the pain and suffering of all beings. And then the main practice with focus, without distraction, and then finally the dedication. And that dedication is to have the merit being kind of like shared with all sentient beings, and so that one can achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. So these three things are important. Okay, so I will conclude the summary and the practice, and depending on the time, so then we can have a few Q&A, question and answer session. Yeah. Please unmute here.
Thank you, Kempola, for the guided meditation. Can you hear me? Yeah, and what is more auspicious than to practice this Buddha Shakyamuni meditation in this auspicious month of Sakadawa? So, Kempola, I got a question for you. Normally, in Tibetan Buddhism, especially, we practice Zambala for wealth, and we practice Amitayu for long life, and we practice medicine Buddha for physical well-being. We seldom think about Buddha Shakyamuni. Because so why we are doing that, and how to solve this issue? We seldom think about Buddha Shakyamuni when it comes to the daily practice or idam practice.
Do you mean to say that the Buddha Shakyamuni's practice is neglected?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is, I think, even in Tibetan tradition, because once the Buddhism actually originated, even though it originated from Buddha Shakyamuni, and then afterwards, it's been like 2,500 years time, and so many masters have come in between also, and then over a period of time, we tend to forget the forefathers, actually. And that was the case even in Tibet also. And that's why I think that's one of the main reason why Mifan Rinpoche composed this, because I don't think there are, if I'm not wrong, there are any other, specific sadhanas on Shakyamuni Buddha being composed by other teachers. And therefore, Mifan Rinpoche found this kind of important to remind people about the significance and the kindness and compassion of our main teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, and then he composed this sadhana. And there's one whole volume of commentary on this particular sadhana, and in which he collects all the the past life stories of Buddha Shakyamuni. Like normally we say, he took in his journey to enlightenment, he took like 500 lives of impure beings and 500 lives of pure beings in his journey to enlightenment. So all these stories are being compiled, and so I think he gave this importance, and there was this kind of like a lacking that was felt, as we feel today also, because we always emphasize on other things like life and wealth and business, success in worldly things and so forth. So maybe these are much more attractive to people, and that's why we tend to go that. But the one thing that we need to always keep in our mind is that even if it is whether we are propitiating or supplicating for wealth, the wealth should not be the ultimate goal. Even if it's the wealth, we are propitiating wealth, or supplicating Zambala in order to derive wealth. But wealth is not the actually ultimate goal of a Buddhist practitioner. It can
Yeah.
be a temporal how to say purpose, but it can't be ultimate. In the same way, like even if you wish for long life, in order to do that, we do like Amitabha practice, but that is not the end. It's not the end goal. It's the means rather than the end goal. So this we need to keep in our mind, and specifically, like we always should not forget, like our forefather, like founder of Buddhism, who is actually the main source of all the tradition, the Buddhist existing Buddhist tradition, whether it's in not only in Tibet but in other countries as well. It comes from Shakyamuni Buddha, and it's our responsibility to kind of go back to our source and see like what he has contributed.
So, in short, we need to go back to the source, who is Buddha Shakyamuni himself, and we can also reap the blessings of long life and wealth and well-being also from Buddha Shakyamuni, right?
Yeah,
Kempola?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kempola, this month is an auspicious month of Sakadawa, and we are also in the midst of pandemic. So, how should we utilize this auspicious energy of Sakadawa to conquer the fear and the troublesome situation of this pandemic?
I think this particular practice encourages shamatha and vipassana. Shamatha is, as I mentioned, that it is to calm our emotions. It is to calm our mind, because when there is too much fear, then it actually the paranoia is there, and sometimes we can't help it because of the situation. But still kind of like if our mind is gripped with fear, then we really can't think. We really won't be able to see what is in front of us and what decision should we take, because if we are overwhelmed with fear. So therefore, for that, calm abiding is so important. And specifically, like through this particular practice, the development of vipassana, which is seeing the reality. So when we talk about seeing the reality, actually even the scientists, they say that the fear is like, most of our fear, maybe 80 to 90 percentage of our fear is unfounded, are baseless. And yeah, that's even like from the Buddhist perspective, we said like the fear is actually like, some of the fears are good, like in order to keep us on our toes, to be careful and so forth. But being gripped by fear, like paranoia, is not healthy, and it will kind of like it will blur our vision, what is to be done and what not to be done. So therefore, seeing the reality, especially in these times, we normally, if we were meditating on defects of samsara, what is samsara made up of? If you really know that the defects of samsara, the samsara is kind of full of suffering. The nature of samsara is suffering. And then if we don't how to say forget this, and then even the worst and the worst of situation, we can actually accept it without kind of like becoming mad or without becoming paranoid. So therefore, this is what we call the reflection on impermanence, reflection on suffering, dukkha, is so important. It is not something that something new is happening in the samsara. It has been, even like in the through the history, we say the Spanish flu pandemic has happened, you know. So it's not something new. The only thing we need to be so we should not be kind of paranoid, but you see that the way it is and try to find the solution. If there is no solution, then why fear? Even like um, Shantideva
Shantideva.
points out that, yeah, if there's a solution, why worry? And if there's no solution, why worry, right? So then keeping this in mind and being kind of like courageous, being kind of like seeing the reality actually gives us a lot of hope and resilience and patience and forbearance.
So thank you, Kempolam, for your guidance and teaching. Hopefully by practicing this Buddha Shakyamuni sadhana, we can see the reality as it is, and then also can overcome the pandemic as soon as possible. Kempolam.
Yeah. And then it's also, yeah, to when we do this collectively, the what we call the collective merit is being accumulated not only on an individual basis, but when we do like gather like in hundreds, 200s and thousands, and when we gather together and then engage in such practices, then that will what we call gather what we collective merit, and collective merit is powerful to kind of like overcome fear, overcome suffering and pain.
Okay. Thank you, Kempola. And I hope you can come back also to the Sabra project to explain in detail the step-by-step meditation practice of Buddha Shakyamuni in next month, maybe beginning of next month. And don't forget also our dear audience, Kempola will be engaged in our Sadharma and Sadharma dialogue as well, the dialogue between Pali and Sanskrit tradition next Sunday. So please tune in, and we hope to see you all there soon. So Kempola, can you lead us to do the dedication of merit now?
Sonam di tamje sikpa nye thomne nyebe danam pamje shin kenga na chi balon chupa ye sebe tsole ndowa sho rinjen geso di ndowa ben tato tambe chunda mide shi rangshin tenyin zoba tajine chunga robe jiden zeba sho chuzu de anyinde kiko shin chogi tatu kundu tajude Rodo bemo rado geje sanje tempa tashin gebara sho. By the power of this merit, the in this effort to gather together and meditate on Shakyamuni Buddha and reciting his mantra, may this merit actually enable all beings, sentient beings, to achieve enlightenment, and specifically all of us who are going through such a bad time in this pandemic. May we be free from fear, and may we have the resilience and also the patience and also the wisdom to kind of see the reality of things, so that all our pain and suffering will be kind of dispelled. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kempola, for your guidance and teachings, and thank you for all of you for tuning in, and hope to see you soon, Kempola, in a very near future. Yeah. Thank you very much to all of you. Namaste, and may all be well and happy. Good night, good evening to everyone. Thank you.